For decades, Balmoral Castle has occupied a special place within the story of the British monarchy. It is not simply another royal residence, it is deeply personal, a place connected to tradition, memory, and generations of royal history. For Queen Elizabeth II, Balmoral was often described as a sanctuary, a retreat from ceremony, a place where the monarchy felt less formal and more human. But recently, online speculation and royal commentary have placed Balmoral at the center of a very different kind of narrative, one involving Princess Anne, Queen Camilla, and Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes. According to rumors circulating across royal discussion circles, tensions may have quietly emerged surrounding questions of access, legacy, and the future role of non-working royal relatives within royal spaces tied to the monarchy's history. No official court dispute has been confirmed, no public legal action has been announced, but the speculation itself has sparked enormous curiosity. Because stories like this touch on something deeper than headlines. They raise questions about where family ends and where the institution begins, why Balmoral holds such emotional power. To understand why any rumor connected to Balmoral Castle immediately attracts attention, you first have to understand what the estate represents within royal life. Unlike Buckingham Palace, which symbolizes ceremony and state duty, Balmoral has long been associated with privacy, with family, with escape. Purchased during the reign of Queen Victoria, the estate became woven into the emotional history of the royal family. Generations of royals spent summers there. Children grew up walking its grounds. Private family moments unfolded far away from public cameras. For Queen Elizabeth II, Balmoral carried especially deep meaning. It was reportedly one of the places where she felt most at peace, where royal protocol softened, where routine became more personal. Because of this, Balmoral is not viewed simply as real estate. It is viewed as heritage, and anything connected to heritage inside the monarchy carries symbolic importance. Princess Anne's reputation for duty. Within the royal family, reputations are not built overnight. They are built slowly, through years of public appearances, private discipline, and an unwavering commitment to responsibility. And few senior royals have earned a reputation for duty, quite like Princess Anne. For decades, Anne has been viewed as one of the monarchy's most dependable figures, not because she seeks attention, but because she avoids it. While other members of the royal family have often dominated headlines, Anne has maintained a very different public image, measured, reserved, focused almost entirely on work. Royal commentators frequently describe her as practical to the core, someone who values structure, efficiency, and tradition above spectacle. That reputation did not emerge by accident. It was shaped over years of carrying out engagements with consistency and professionalism. Year after year, Anne quietly represented the monarchy across the United Kingdom and abroad, without controversy, without theatrics, and without appearing interested in celebrity. This has made her deeply respected within royal circles, because inside the monarchy, consistency matters, reliability matters, and Anne has long embodied both. But there is another aspect to her reputation that often draws attention: her directness. Unlike some royals who are known for diplomacy in every public moment, Anne has often been perceived as straightforward, blunt, at times, not in a hostile way, but in a practical one. She belongs to a generation shaped by duty first and personal comfort second, a generation that viewed royal responsibility not as performance, but as obligation. And because of that, many royal observers believe Anne sees the monarchy primarily as an institution that must be protected, not reshaped around individual preference. This perspective becomes especially important when discussions involve royal tradition, family boundaries, or historic estates like Balmoral Castle. Because for Anne, places like Balmoral are not simply private properties. They are part of the monarchy's historical identity, symbols of continuity that connect one generation to the next. And protecting that continuity has always appeared central to her approach. This is why rumors involving Anne tend to gain attention quickly. People assume that if she becomes connected to a story, it likely involves something larger than personal disagreement, something tied to structure, to protocol, to preserving the monarchy as an institution. Whether those assumptions are accurate or not, they reveal how Anne is perceived publicly, not as a dramatic figure, but as a guardian of royal tradition. Camilla's family and the royal divide. When Queen Camilla married King Charles III, she entered one of the most historic institutions in the world. But unlike royal marriages of earlier generations, this union brought something slightly different into the royal spotlight: an already established extended family. Camilla's children, including Laura Lopes, had their own lives, identities, and personal histories long before Camilla became queen consort. And while the public naturally became curious about their connection to royal life, the monarchy itself maintained a very clear distinction. A distinction between personal family relationships and official royal roles. This distinction is one of the monarchy's defining characteristics, because while the royal family is a family in the personal sense, institutionally it operates according to structure and hierarchy. Working royals perform official duties on behalf of the crown. Non-working relatives do not, and maintaining clarity around those roles is considered essential. From the outside, that boundary can sometimes appear cold, but inside the monarchy, it serves an important purpose. It prevents confusion over representation, responsibility, and public expectations. This is particularly significant in modern times, where public visibility can blur the lines between celebrity and constitutional role. Figures connected to the monarchy may attract enormous public attention without holding any official position within the institution itself. That reality creates a unique dynamic for families connected to senior royals, especially for people like Lopes, who are linked personally to the monarchy, but remain outside its formal structure. Public curiosity often pulls them closer to the royal narrative, but institutionally, the boundaries remain in place. And those boundaries can become especially important when discussions involve royal property, access, or symbolic spaces tied to royal tradition. Because in the monarchy, symbolism matters. Who is seen where, who participates in certain events, who is associated with particular estates. These details may appear small, but they often carry deeper institutional meaning. The rumors that sparked public curiosity. Like many royal stories, the speculation surrounding Balmoral Castle appears to have begun quietly, not through official announcements, but through fragments, small discussions online, comments from royal observers, interpretations built around limited information. Over time, those fragments evolved into larger narratives. Some stories suggested there may have been disagreements regarding access, invitations, or future arrangements connected to Balmoral. Others exaggerated those ideas further, framing them as personal conflict involving Princess Anne and Lopes. But without official confirmation, none of these claims can be treated as established fact. Still, the rapid spread of the rumors revealed something fascinating about public interest in the monarchy. People are deeply intrigued by what happens behind palace walls, particularly when it involves questions of hierarchy, belonging, and royal tradition. Because the monarchy presents such a carefully controlled public image, even small hints of internal tension can generate enormous curiosity, and places like Balmoral Castle amplify that fascination. The estate carries emotional symbolism, historical symbolism, and family symbolism all at once. So when rumors emerge involving Balmoral, they immediately feel larger than ordinary royal gossip. They feel connected to something deeper. Questions about who belongs within the monarchy's inner world. Questions about how tradition is preserved. Questions about where the line exists between private family relationships and institutional boundaries. In many ways, this is why stories like these continue to attract attention even without confirmation, because they touch on the mystery at the center of royal life itself, a world the public can see but never fully enter. Why royal property carries symbolic meaning. Within the monarchy, residences are never just places to live. They are symbols. Who resides where, who receives invitations, who has access to specific estates. All of these details can carry meaning, because royal property reflects hierarchy, tradition, institutional identity. That is why stories involving places like Balmoral Castle generate such intense interest. People instinctively understand that within the royal system, access itself can symbolize inclusion, trust, and status. Even when no official statement exists, the emotional weight of public speculation. One of the most difficult aspects of royal-related speculation is the emotional impact it can have on individuals connected to the institution. Because once a narrative gains attention online, it often grows rapidly. Details become exaggerated, interpretations become more dramatic, and public curiosity intensifies. For someone like Lopes, being drawn into that kind of speculation could be emotionally challenging, not necessarily because of institutional conflict, but because of the visibility itself. The monarchy may be accustomed to scrutiny, but extended family members often live much more privately, which can make sudden public attention especially overwhelming. Princess Anne and the protection of royal tradition. Throughout her life, Princess Anne has become closely associated with preserving royal standards, not through public speeches, not through dramatic declarations, but through quiet consistency. She represents a generation of royals shaped by discipline and structure, a generation that views duty not as performance, but as obligation. Because of this, many royal observers see Anne as someone deeply protective of the monarchy's traditions, particularly traditions connected to continuity and institutional identity. And that reputation is one reason why rumors involving her tend to gain traction so quickly. The larger tension beneath stories like this. At the heart of stories like this lies a broader tension that has existed within the monarchy for decades. The tension between family and institution. Modern royal families are still families. They include blended relationships, extended relatives, and evolving personal dynamics. But the monarchy itself remains rooted in structure and tradition. Balancing those two realities is never simple. And as the royal family evolves, questions about inclusion, visibility, and institutional boundaries become increasingly significant. Silence and the power of mystery. One reason royal speculation spreads so quickly is because the monarchy rarely responds directly. The institution values silence, privacy, restraint. And while this approach preserves dignity, it also creates mystery, because when official explanations are absent, public interpretation fills the space. Rumors grow, speculation expands, and narratives begin to develop independently of confirmed facts. A story about more than headlines. In the end, stories involving Princess Anne, Queen Camilla, Lopes, and Balmoral Castle are rarely just about individuals. They reflect something larger, the monarchy's ongoing challenge of balancing personal relationships with institutional expectations, a challenge that becomes increasingly complex in a modern world where every rumor can instantly become global conversation. And whether or not stories like these contain truth, they continue to fascinate because they touch on timeless themes surrounding royalty, tradition, legacy, privacy, and the quiet tension between human relationships and royal duty.